Hello, welcome to ENCORE. Let's look at what the world of arts and culture has in store for us today. Michael Douglas talks to France 24 about his new film Beyond the Reach, working with a French director and coming back from cancer. The soulless face of drone warfare is at the heart of Andrew Niccol's new film Good Kill with Ethan Hawke. And the Hollywood retirement home where former stars go to grow old doing what they love. Thanks for joining us. First to Hollywood, where Michael Douglas has teamed up with the French director Jean-Baptiste Leonetti for his new film Beyond the Reach. Douglas plays a business tycoon who accidentally shoots someone on a hunting trip. He then tries to take out his young guy, played by Jeremy Irvine, to cover it up. Valerie Defer has been speaking to them in Los Angeles.
Ben, got a job here for you this morning. Guy wants to go out to the Reach.
Early in the season, isn't it?
Got himself a special exemption. Best tracker in the state.
Well, imagine that.
I can get her done.
When you fire your weapon, you frighten the game.
They're already frightened. That's why they're being hunted.
Reach is based on a novel by Rob White.
Rob White.
And it's an intense manhunt. And it talks also about the power of money and how it can drive you crazy. What did you like the most about this movie?
Well, for me,
Après toi.
for me, it was just a really wonderful thriller. It was very exciting to read, and it was a real page turner. And also it was had Michael involved, which is a pretty good sign that it's going to be something good. So yeah,
A thriller, cat and mouse. I read the story from the book originally, 1972. I was thinking about Jeremy's part back then. But it was a really good thriller, and how to pull off a suspense movie in the bright sunshine and the desert. And that is why our director, Jean-Baptiste Leonetti, in his movie Carré Blanc, has a kind of a mood and an atmosphere that we thought would be very effective. You see anything?
I've known him my whole life. We need to take him to town.
Then the situation's more complicated than you think. See, my competition, they'll destroy me if they find out about this.
You, Michael, have worked with most famous directors as Soderbergh, Fincher. How different was it to work with this French director, Jean-Baptiste Leonetti?
Not very different. I mean, our language is an international language with movies. I've worked with, whether it's Paul Verhoeven, who's Dutch, Ridley Scott, English. So, it's an international language, so there's not a big difference. Also, Jean-Baptiste, or JB, as we call him, is a big fan of Westerns. He knew all the old John Ford Western movies and had a great sort of history of that type of movie, so I think he felt very comfortable. Stop it! Boy, did you blow this. This is gonna be 120 by noon, isn't it? Take off your clothes.
Okay.
Shoes and your socks.
Come on, you're not gonna kill me. Okay. This would be murder.
No, I'm not killing you. I'm just gonna watch you die. Let's go, Ben.
In your career, you often played the bad guy, the villain in Wall Street, for example. Is it your favorite role?
I like to be bad. Yes, I enjoy being bad. It's very theatrical, allows you a chance to do things that people don't normally get a chance to do.
What about you, Jeremy? How is it to work with Michael?
it's wonderful to.
He's so difficult. I kept him chained. He was chained, and then I'd let him loose, unlock him, and he'd get out.
Yeah, no, I think Michael did have it right in this movie. He's in the nice big expensive car, and I'm running around almost naked. But no, it's great. Incredibly generous and very open, and it couldn't have made me feel more at home, really.
Michael, you produced many movies. You played in almost 40 films. You won
50.
50. You won 2 Academy Awards. How do you feel when you look back on your career?
Pretty good. I mean, I wish I did more of. All my movies are contemporary. Only maybe 1 or 2 period movies in the lot. But I always focus on the stories. Sometimes you have a good part, some not, but the story's the most important.
You've been through a lot. You survived your throat cancer. Where did you find the strength? And what would you say to someone who's in the same situation? What advice would you give?
Well, I would say, as far as head neck cancer, check out early. As far as strength, there's nothing else you can do. You got to go with the program. And I think what happens if you are fortunate enough to get clean, it's like a new life. You know, you really feel like, you know, I have a new life, and I have much more energy for my work, for my family, for my wife, much more.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Come on, Ben. There's no way out.
The modern, soulless face of drone warfare is at the heart of our next film. Good Kill is directed by the writer of The Truman Show, Andrew Niccol, and stars Ethan Hawke as a drone operator. Now, as the film progresses, the remote killing spree begins to weigh on him, and as Kate Moody reports, we soon discover that there's no such thing as a good kill.
Eyes on the objective. Engage at your discretion.
Making life or death decisions, all with the click of a button.
3, 2, 1, right.
Good kill.
That's the daily routine for former Air Force pilot Tom Egan, played in Good Kill by Ethan Hawke.
Any time of day or night, drones are in the sky above whatever godforsaken place we're at war with that day.
He's helping the U.S. military fight the Taliban in Afghanistan as an operator of unmanned drones in a control room near Las Vegas, far from the front line.
They don't call it a hellfire for nothing.
He's being placed in this very bizarre situation where he is taking life and making mortal decisions, but doesn't have any respect for himself because he's not in danger.
6 tours, 200.
After spending the day focused on targets thousands of miles away, Tom returns home to his picture-perfect family.
Hi, Dad.
Is it so bad, what you're doing now? You're still making people safer, right?
They are unaware of the growing strain that's causing him to unravel.
Damn it, what's that?
Abort?
Negative.
Rania.
While director Andrew Niccol insists he doesn't have a political agenda, his story leads Hawke's character and the audience to question the ethics of modern drone warfare.
There's a good side to drones, which is that they're very precise, and you can watch troops, you can stop ambush, but then there's a flip side, because it makes war easier and cheaper and maybe endless.
Every day I feel like a coward taking pot shots at somebody halfway around the world.
The theme may resonate with the public as remote-controlled drones play an increasingly important role in the fight against terrorist groups. Good Kill tries to put a human face on the consequences of unmanned drone strikes, both on the other side of the globe and at home.
Well, Ethan Hawke has a bit of time yet, but in our next report, we're heading to a retirement home for former Hollywood talent. It encourages residents to remain connected to the work they once loved with on-site equipment, allowing them to produce TV shows and films. Josh Vardy takes a look.
Hey, bingo, bingo!
It's a retirement home in the US, like many others, but with one major difference. This is Hollywood, and rather than retiring to play bingo, some pensioners here prefer to retire to the studio to do what they've always done, cinema. In his working life, Anthony Lawrence was a screenwriter. He still is.
This is a place where I could still feel productive. I could still be creative. Like last night, I got up about 2 a.m. and did a rewrite on this one screenplay that I just finished because I just couldn't go back to sleep.
The retirees produce original creations of their own, among them this remake of the police series Law and Order, reborn here as Law and Disorder.
Hi, Joan. Mwah.
Everyone's skills here are recognised.
She's one of our producers. We love her.
The home's manager says keeping these showbiz icons of yesterday working is important for their happiness.
Well, anyone who is creative knows that creativity is ageless. Just because you've retired from a certain job doesn't mean that you don't have creative aspirations or creative vision.
Residents here say it can certainly be hard to give up the craft.
It's like AA unless you've been in show business.
Charlie Chaplin was one of the founders of this home, which first opened in 1921.
And that brings us to the end of the show. And as the frenzy of superhero flicks continues, we're going to leave you with the Avengers follow-up, Age of Ultron. It stars Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson and is out in cinemas now. Remember our website, we're also on Twitter and Facebook. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.
Tried to create a suit of armor around the world, but I created something terrible.
Artificial intelligence.
It's called the Ultron program.
I'm sick of watching people pay for our mistakes.
Isn't why we fight so we can end the fight and go home?
Well, you amazingly failed.